here today for a very special occasion, and I'm proud to be here to pay homage at the occasion of the installation of a memorial for our two beloved leaders, both from the tribal community, Comrade Rajaya and Comrade Podu. So I'm happy to be here. I think it's very important to recall that at the time of the formation of the Constitution, there were special steps taken to protect the rights of tribal communities. One of the issues was reservation of seats for tribal communities in Parliament, in State Assembly, and in local bodies and panchayats. But unfortunately, we have seen that in many of these seats, political parties manipulate this reservation, and those who are often elected in these seats do not raise the voice of tribal communities. The biggest example is in Parliament today, where the Bharatiya Janata Party has won most of the 49 ST reserved seats in India. Large majority is won by the Bharatiya Janata Party. My question is, when tribal rights are being bulldozed, when the Gram Sabha rights are being totally diluted, when the Forest Rights Act, more than 50% of claims under Forest Rights Act have been denied to mainly tribal communities, where are the BJP MPs? Why they are not raising their voice against the Modi government's bulldozing of tribal rights? Recently, some amendments are being suggested to the Forest Conservation Act, to the Forest Act, which totally dilute the rights of tribal communities under the Forest Rights Act. So today, when we pay homage to the memory of our two tribal MLAs, former MLAs, we assert that the left parties and the CPIM, in every seat that we have won, which is a ST reserved seat, our main attempt and effort has been to take forward the rights of tribals, not destroy them like is being done today under Modi government. Second point, we are happy that after the big struggle of Podu cultivators in Telangana, the TRS government has at last understood that it is politically extremely damaging for them. So, Podu cultivators have got a right under the Forest Rights Act. This is not anybody's meherbani. This is not anybody's generous gift. It is a right given by the Forest Rights Act. Traditional rights, Podu is included in traditional rights under Chapter 4, Section 3 of the Forest Rights Act. But I have seen the circular of the state government. While we welcome in general the effort to ensure Podu cultivators get their rights, I would like to request the government to look at the circular and make the required changes according to the Forest Rights Act. Number one, the role of Gram Sabhas is totally missing in the circular by the government. Number two, the government has added a word, poor Podu cultivators, poor, the word poor. Number 3, the government has put a condition that no other livelihood, only Kodu cultivators, only they will get the right. And this is completely flying in the face of reality and the face of the law. So they cannot put conditions. Kodu cultivators have got the right. If a Kodu cultivator, I want to ask this government and this bureaucracy who have made this circular, even a small farmer, can they live only on the income of 1 acre or 2 acres of land? No. Most of them have to work as agricultural workers. I mean, Venkat is here, he's our General Secretary All India Agricultural Workers Union. He will tell you, today, no single poor farmer, marginal farmer can manage only on agriculture. They have to do other work. So to say in the circular, only income from Kodu cultivation, it means you are not going to give anybody that right. So we cannot accept it, and we request the Chief Minister, if indeed you are sincere, as we hope you are, in implementing the Forest Right Act, protection to Kodu cultivators, kindly have a reconsideration of your circular and make the required changes. Otherwise, I fear, I apprehend, already in Telangana, 50% of claims have been rejected. We don't want the same thing to happen to Kodu cultivators. So that is as far as this issue is concerned. Now coming to the main national issue today. We have seen the revelation from Facebook that in 2019, before the Lok Sabha elections and before the Assembly elections, the Bharatiya Janata Party utilized Facebook to send the most toxic communal messages, including top leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party and by name Himanta Biswa Sarma, who happens to be the Assam Chief Minister. So the Bharatiya Janata Party's use of social media has been only and only to spread toxic messages, communal messages, to divide India and to divide India on the basis of religion. This is highly objectionable, and we demand, where all these reports are, we demand that Parliament and the Parliamentary Committee, which is already called Facebook, they have to seriously consider this aspect, and following from this, criminal action should be taken against all those who have utilized social media to send these toxic messages. It is a shame that today India is categorized as one of the highest risk countries by this social media platform. And as far as Facebook is concerned, they are totally compromised. They have totally accepted and supported what the BJP has done just to push their own revenue. So this is the reality which has come, which shows that India's security, when we talk about India's security, the greatest threat to India's security right now is from the Bharatiya Janata Party's internal domestic politics of dividing